Right. Calvin, you
Well, I don't
there?
think he wants his middle name in there.
Yes,
Prob-
Calvin, have your headsets on. We're on the air and we are on Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Hello, everybody. Let's see
Hello.
here. Hello,
Hey.
everybody. We are on here. Calvin, can you hear us? One, two, three, Calvin. We can't hear you, Calvin.
he got to fix it. He's straight in his
There we
business.
go, Calvin.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, Calvin. And we hear you now, Calvin. Calvin Eric Denson from Denson Books. Denson Books. Wait a minute. I still have my mask on. Let's go here. Hey, yeah, I got it all on here. Okay, let's see here. Hey guys, do you know we are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, LinkedIn,
I'm so proud of you,
Breaker, quite a
Tony.
few of them. I don't know what to do here, girl. We all over the place now. Uh,
Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and tell me what's the other one I missed?
Oh, we're quite a few. Hey guys, if you're listening, watch
iHeartRadio. I'm
iHeartRadio.
excited.
Yeah, if you're out here listening and watching this, we've got Calvin Eric Denson from Denson Books. He's with us this evening, and we are going to be visiting with the author. He's an author of Denson Book. Let me show you a picture. There we go. That's Calvin Denson. He's been
Thank you,
on,
thank you.
yeah, he's been on a tour. He's been touring around Southeast Texas, Houston, Fringewood, Conroe. He's all over the place. And he was just downtown Beaumont on last Friday, right, Calvin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, tell the audience about you. And by the way, before we get started, uh, uh, my spiel here is that we want you to make comments. You want to visit with Calvin or talk with him or send us a comment. And we will be glad to let you know that you're on with Calvin Eric Denson, who we are talking to tonight, with my co-host Francis Larkin and LaDonna Sherwood. Hey, it's crazy thing, LaDonna. I mean, Francis, last Sunday you was ill and you wasn't on the show. And I was sitting here trying to think of your name. I went brain dead.
That's
I couldn't think of your name for
that
nothing in the
that
world.
is okay. That is
Hi.
over
So
here. Here.
ain't no trickery going on with us, huh?
Um,
I
no.
can't
No, but
I
you
can't think of
you
your name.
you really flubbed that up. I was like, what is he trying to say? He was trying to search for your name. So
I couldn't
But
think of
I'm
it.
sure LaDonna had you. She
Yeah,
got
she
you
had my
all
back. She
together.
had my back. And I'm like, yeah, he had my back. She had my back. But she still didn't know who I was. She still did not know who I was trying to think of. She thought I was talking about her mother. No,
Oh
right.
Lord.
I couldn't think of your name for nothing in the world, girl. I was just going crazy here.
That is
That's all
a
right.
okay.
It is okay. And we've got quite a few people on right now, and we want to give a shout out to Terry Raw, who's always watching us.
I'm
And
so excited about Terry Roy. He always on.
yes, he's already on the hook watching us. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and quite a few more that we are on. So Twix. And so we're on quite a few platforms. And we'd like to say thank you, everybody, for making us who we are today. Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. So let's visit with the author. Calvin Denson with Calvin Denson Books. Hello, Terry. Hello, Lady D. Allen. Well, I'll shout out to all these people. Leonard Trick Anders over here in Lufkin, Texas. John C. Adam. Hello, Ivory Hadnot. They're already online watching us. And hey, Terry Savoy. Hey, I'm going to be glad to have you guys, your mother, on next Sunday. Harji Savoy. She's going to be on our show Sunday, along with ex-Commissioner Ed Moore, and quite a few old pioneers from the civil rights area. So let's visit with Calvin. Calvin, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just happy to be on your platform and thanking you for choosing me to represent all the authors out there. Here I am today. And just thanking God for my gifts and talents in writing. And here I am today.
I'm excited about that, Calvin. So if you would, I saw you were at the sports bar and I think somewhere downtown. Tell us a little bit about how you got started. What's your motivation?
Well, how I got started, far as writing or far as after the books came out, as I
Well,
start putting the book together.
both. I mean, give us a little bit of background. Let us know how you started writing and how's it coming since the books have come out.
Well, how I started writing is through strictly God. When I was 25 years old, I planted a seed in my life. Uh, I was reading a lot of books from all different kinds of authors from all different backgrounds, and I noticed some books with people, some books in general just was written without any meaning. And I told myself, if I was able to write a book, I'll write different. I'll have meaning in my book. And 5 years later, I was coming home from work, and some said write a book. And then I started. And then January 1st, 2009, I started writing my first book, Autumn. That's how I started writing. But my
What was your first
motivation,
book about? What was your first book about?
my first book is Autumn. It's about a girl who give her life to God after going through some hardships in life with her boyfriend Tree, and her mom gets sick with cancer. Autumn is the girl, Tree is the boy, their boyfriend and girlfriend. And I chose that book. In that book, I just let it go. I started writing far as like the teachers taught me to write, which I'll never do that again. I mean, not in a bad way. They don't teach you how to write books. So I did the main idea, outline, and everything like they tell you how to write papers in school. And in doing that, I end up finished writing the book. But however, throughout the book, I noticed I got writer's block a lot, trying to follow what I was pre-wrote on that paper. So I told myself when I finished that book, I'll never write that way again. And I'll freestyle my book straight out my head with only knowing the key points. And I tell and with that, doing that, how can I get writer's block if I don't even know what's going to happen next?
Right.
Well,
So let me
Kevin,
ask you, since the books have come out, tell us a little bit about how's it going?
Well, when I wrote my first book, Autumn, it came out in Chicago. I remember standing on a corner in Chicago, Illinois, at the stores and everything, waiting for people to come out the store, and I hand them a book and be like, "I'm Calvin Denson from Beaumont, Texas, and my book just came out because my dad's in Chicago, so that's where I was at the time. My mom had passed away, so I went and moved with him for a little while, for about 8 months. So I used to hand my book to people. They'll walk by me, and I used to be like, "Look, just pick a page, just grab it. If you get the book, open it up and start reading. If you don't like what you read, you can have the book." And to this day, no one has given me my book back. So that's how I started pushing the book. As far as today now, is my my grind is so, coming from my background is so surreal. For as plus my grind is different because my mom taught me that I could do so many things at one time. And the way she taught me was not telling me that I can do it. Was showing me. I watched her grade papers as a kindergarten teacher, go to school at Fairview, teach summer school, work at the golf course, all at the same time, with ease. So the things I do, people are, yes, amazed, and I understand that, but they don't realize that I watched my mom do this with ease, so I can do it too. So, but the books are doing real good right now. Like on Black Friday, I did 114 books, and Black Friday weekend altogether was 267 books. So they're just doing real well. Everywhere I go, it's just books, books, books.
wow, that's awesome, Calvin. That is really awesome.
Thank y'all.
Francis,
Oh, sure. Of course, I have tons of questions. So it's very nice to meet you, Mr. Denson.
Nice to meet you too, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was wondering, who is your favorite author? And if there was a comparison of an author or a style that you would like to compare your style of writing to, who would that be?
Well, honestly, I only read. I haven't read nobody else's book lately because I'm an author and I have a photographic memory. First of all, my
Oh,
favorite author is C.S. Lewis. I love his books. I read a lot of his books and I learned from him. He's just a very intelligent man. I love reading Christian literature. That's what I read my Bible a lot.
Okay.
I try to be a walking Bible. But as far as C.S. Lewis, my favorite author.
And who do you compare yourself to?
Oh, compare
Your
myself
writing
to.
style. Yeah, your
Far
writing
as
style.
far as compare myself to, I cannot say because I really don't read too many books because I have a photographic memory. And
Okay.
being that I have a photographic memory and I can remember to the time I was 3 years old, as I begin to flourish as an author and see, I didn't want to be reading too many books about what I like because I don't want to feel like here I am writing and thinking I'm flowing when I'm really flowing somebody else's material because my
That makes a
mind
lot
can
of
soak
sense.
it up so good so quickly. But
And
however, when I wrote my book, my novel Grace, I
right.
do my novel Grace right here. It's about a pastor that died and go to hell, and in hell he preached the gospel, and it's doing superb, doing wonders. And when I wrote this book, I mean, I had to paint a picture of hell. I wanted to paint a certain kind of picture, so I read Alice in Wonderland. Uh I read the Sword in the Stone, Western books by John. I like William Johnston cowboy books too. He a real good writer. And I
Okay.
wrote Underwater City Atlantis, stuff like that to put me in a mind frame of how to write this book. Even though those stories are not in this book, but that's what it put me in a mind frame. So when I prepared myself to write, I was able to write a very good story. And that's how I do pretty much all my books. I put myself in a mind frame of what I'm trying to accomplish, and then I let it flow.
Okay.
Now, I have a question. You were talking about writer's block, and I know myself, I'm a writer as well, and people don't really realize what writer's block is, and it's a real thing. So, what do you do to overcome your writer's block? Like, how do you get out of that funk where your mind is just drawing a blank, or you keep getting to a certain spot and you can't get past that point?
Yeah, far as writer's block with me today, I can honestly say, not to jinx myself, I don't get writer's block no more. However, I think that's because I know I'm only speak for my first book because as of today, I could just write. I could be writing a book right now on here with you talking and feeding off y'all
Right.
energy. I learned how to feed off people energy now. And I learned that off my second books. But far as my first book, I got writer's block because I was steady trying to follow what I had already wrote from the
Right.
beginning, what I
You
wanted to
did
write.
mention that before.
That's how I
Right.
got writer's block. So I don't do that no more. Now what I do is like chapter one, I'll meet you say your name is LaShonda Sherwood, right? You
LaDonna.
Miss LaShonda Sherwood. All right, chapter
LaDonna.
one, I'll meet Miss Sherwood, and Miss Sherwood will tell Calvin Denson, you're gonna do this and you're doing that. You need to stop what you're doing because you're gonna do this. And chapter two, she's gonna Calvin gonna meet Mr. Tony Hope and say this something powerful. Those key points is something I want the reader to walk away with.
Well, I
So,
gotta have a chapter
however,
in that
I
book.
don't know how I'm gonna connect those 2 points. So that's how I
Where
go.
I need a chapter in that book, Mr. Denson.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just giving a scenario of how I write it now. Because
And
in
Francis
writing, when
giving
I
you a
talk
heart.
about writing, I talk about writing like painting a picture. Picture a house, dog, and a tree. You know what a house, dog, and a tree looks like. What's surrounding a house, dog, and a tree is what's going to take take you to write. So in that point, you must let it flow. So that's what I do when I kind of teach people about writing. It's easy to paint the house, dog, and a tree, but what's around the house, dog, and a tree?
Right. So I of course have another question. I always have, like I said, tons of questions. So if Tyler Perry were to approach you and wanted to turn your play or your book into a play, how would you feel about that? And how much would you negotiate?
If he approached me, I would. I'll be open to
So
anything when it comes to my books. Because
which book would it be? Grace? Would it be Tree? Would it be Autumn?
do a play or to do a movie. Because Grace,
Oh, I
I
was
don't
gonna get to that.
I don't think grace can be captured in the it can if you have the right people, but I wrote Grace so that to go for grace for anything that happened with grace, it got to be a motion picture because
Okay.
you're gonna take away from what I wrote in Grace. I
Okay.
wrote it to because I want the reader to say when it's gonna become a movie because it's a very good book. I've been a lot of people from California and already reaching out to me, but they're not saying the right things. So when it do, I wrote it to where people will say the movie was good, but the book was better. So
All
that's how I
right.
wrote it. So I ain't letting nothing but Autumn, my novel Autumn's Love. This is my novel Autumn's Love. This is a trilogy.
Oh,
Autumn is
okay.
the first book. Tree is the second book. That's the boyfriend. And Autumn's Love just came out a month ago. It's this book here is a fun story about a girl getting married while facing the trials of her mom being sick, and she's also pregnant with twins.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting read.
Oh, it's good. It's my fourth book. I want when you read my books, people don't realize what they're growing in me as an author because I'm just not being an author. I mean, I'm an author of 10 books, but
Yeah.
that's the children books. I could write. It don't take me nothing but a day to write a children book, or 1 or 2, 3 days to write these.
Okay, so where can we find your work? Can we find it on Amazon, or if any of the viewers are looking or watching right now, where will we be able to purchase your?
Oh, anywhere, all major platforms, as far as Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Apple Books, everything. You could go to densonbooks.com, DENSON
Okay.
books.com. It's all one word. And you can learn a little bit about me and where I come from and whatnot, densonbooks.com.
Okay, very good.
Well, maybe you could just give us a little background. Are you from Beaumont originally?
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Beaumont, Texas, but I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey. My mom had me visiting her sister at the time, and but we eventually made it back to Texas. I came here through at age 4 years old because my mom was from California and my real dad is from Chicago. But my stepfather, which is Henry Boswell of Beaumont, Texas, the Boswells, they was from Beaumont and they met my mom. My mom stayed in Oceanside. There was a Marine base around, and that's how she met my stepfather. And that's how I ended up in Texas going on 4 years old. And I've been
Okay.
here ever since. And I love Texas.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, love Texas.
So
Yeah,
what
but
do
grew up
you
in Beaumont, Texas.
what do you do in your pastimes? If you're not writing, if you're not reading, what are you doing to decompress, to recharge your battery?
Uh, See, that's what I try to also show people. My people don't realize that they gotta learn how when people not encouraging you or
Mm,
telling you you're doing a good job or whatnot, they gotta learn how to get encouragement from elsewhere, which is how I get encouragement, which is from the sun, the moon, the grass, the wind, talking on this platform, giving a homeless man some change. I know how to pull from those things to recharge my battery to continue to write great things because that's how I don't get writer's block. Whenever I get a part, a certain part in my brain, I'll just stop and just take off walking. I might just walk outside. I might just say hi to the neighbor, and the neighbor might say something. And bam, it's on. I'm back at it.
Well, tell us a little bit about, I'm sorry, Francis, you had another question?
no, I thought Tony was talking. I was letting him know we couldn't hear a word he was saying.
Oh, Tony,
Oh, you
yeah,
couldn't
is
hear
your
me?
mic on, Tony?
No,
You heard me?
yeah, I'm here. Calvin, let me ask you: did you go to grade school here?
Elementary school. I went to
Yeah,
French elementary. You can hear me? Can
yeah,
y'all hear me?
I can hear you real good. Yes, you're fine.
My elementary school, we bounced around a lot because we wasn't financially stable like that growing up. My mom worked at a daycare. and my dad did what he had to, my stepfather did what he had to do. So we bounced from a lot of different schools. So I went to all kind of schools. That's how I'm well known. Like I say, everything my whole life added up to me being an author, because that's how I know so many people by me bouncing from
School to school.
neighborhood to neighborhood. I gaining
Yeah.
friends. And
That's I can imagine what you went through, because I now of course financially my family was okay, but stable. But I went to 9 schools in 12 years.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
so
me.
well, everybody's my classmate all over town. So I know what
It
you.
all
I know
added
what
up
it
to
means.
this though.
Right, right. So it want to know why I know everybody. Well, hell, I don't know everybody, but everybody know me.
That's right.
That's it. But Calvin, I'm not as gifted as you as writing. I love to read. I have a I don't have a photographic memory, but I love to read. I love to read. I read all day long, all night long, and so by reading is giving us so much knowledge, and you have so much to share with others here in the Southeast Texas, because I've seen you at so many different locations in the malls all over Texas, and I want you to keep your head up, guy. You're on your way. So tell me
Thank
this.
you,
Ask
sir.
Yeah. Tell me this. How many books have you written? Did y'all ask that question already?
No, we
10.
didn't.
Yeah.
I think he's written 10, right, Mr. Denson?
But he didn't tell
Yes,
us about.
I'm the author of 10 books. But I have 8 published as of right now. My
Mhm.
first book was Autumn. My second book is Tree, Grace, and Autumn's Love. Those are my novels. My children books is Why Me, Bad Luck Felix, Red the School Bus Driver. And my book, My Dad Says Yes. Next year in March, my book, Jeff the Janitor, comes out to teach kids about germs. And then in September, Best Friends, which me and here Art Smith will be doing. And then in March, in Mother's Day 2022, Mommy Got Eyes in Back of Her Head comes out, and then in September 2022, My Piggy Bank to show kids how to save money will be released.
Awesome.
Now, I was just gonna say, tell us about your children's book, because I was trying to see those children's books. You said you always make sure that they have a message in it. So it sounds like, just listening to you, that they all have important lessons that children can derive from reading it, or the parents can use that as a teachable moment to get the kids involved in certain things. Can you, yeah, I was gonna say, can you show us?
Yes, ma'am. This is my children book, Bad Luck Felix, Why Me, and Red the School Bus Driver. And the books I told you, My Piggy Bank and Jeff the Janitor, will be one of these books. This is 3 or 5 books. The lady on this cover is my mother. She was a kindergarten teacher at Fell Elementary. I'm
I was
writing
definitely
5
going
books
to
in
ask
honor of
you
her.
that.
I'm writing 5 books in honor of her because she's no longer with us. She
Oh,
passed away. So when you read these stories, you're reading 2 stories in one. Being that she was an educator, will have some kind of education or something to pull away from. And the books are doing real well, like such as this book, Why Me? It's on kids
mhm.
getting bullied in school. Like, why me? Why am I getting bullied? And Bad Luck Felix is about a little girl named Chloe who misses her mommy on the first day of school, and also about a truck driver who has bad luck. The reason why the book is pink is because my mom passed away of cancer. And it's just a whole lot going on with these books. Read the School Bus Drivers on school bus safety and how to conduct yourself on the school bus. When you read these books, you're reading 2 stories in one. That's why my mom is holding the book, because she's reading to the kids at story time on an alphabet mat after pulling something that happened in today school activities to read about, like such as bullying. Oh, y'all, if they're bullying in school, so she reads a book on bullying. They're having trouble on the school bus, she reads a book on school buses. As far as Bad Luck Felix, the reason why this book is written about a girl who misses her mommy on her first day of school, because being that it's the first book that I'm writing in honor of my mom, this is for me personally that I wrote the book. Being that it's the first book I wrote in honor of my mom, I think what better way is to write about a child missing their mom. So that's why that book story come along at. And also the main characters, one day, every time I'm on platforms on national TV, I'll explain if they really ask me like y'all ask me. But the main characters in this book is my nieces and nephews. So really, it's my mom teaching her grandkids. So, but in the books, they're her students. So the world don't know that. But to me, this is for me, what I wrote it for. And here go my other book. My Dad Says Yes. It just came out for Father's Day. It's doing phenomenal. And this is a tribute also to Kobe Bryant a little bit, for us with the 24 jersey. He was a good father, and he was both for the illustrator who is Henry Art Smith. He's from Beaumont, Texas as well. We just did a video today with him. I'm the top. I feel like I'm not to say I'm bragging or nothing, but I'm one of the top authors of Beaumont, Texas. He's one of the top artists of Beaumont, Texas. And being that we decided to do a Beaumont collaboration, and we came up with My Dad Says Yes. And it's just a fun story of a father interacting with his child. It came out for Father's Day. And we just wanted to show the world it's fun being a daddy. You don't have to run from that responsibility. And also, where we at in the world today, we need more kids to more fathers to step up and be some real fathers.
And that's my classmate. So I didn't know. So Henry did the artwork in that book. That's my
Yes,
classmate.
ma'am. He did all this. He won.
My dad says yes. I need to get one of those. My dad says yes.
Yeah, he did. It's a very good book.
Yes, Henry is my classmate.
Yeah, we just
We
had
went to
a
school
meeting
together
today.
since the beginning.
He's very cool.
Absolutely.
Go
I'm
ahead.
looking forward to that.
Well,
I was just gonna say I'm looking forward to that. You know, you like you say, you never know what's gonna jar people's attention, but when you say Henry, you sparked me because that's near and dear to my heart. We were in art class together. Henry and I took our art classes together, Miss Kilpatrick and people like that from Marshall Middle School and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to that one. Okay. You know what I mean? So you don't know who's connected to whom. I'm excited about that.
Well, next September, we got 2 more books we finna do. That's one. Best Friends will be coming out next September. I gotta write that January 4th. I gotta write 2 books. I'm gonna write those books back to back because I'm doing Best Friends, and Mommy Got Eyes and Back of Her Head will be coming out in Mother's Day. But Best Friends will be about the main character. His name is Henry. The main character is Henry. And My Dad Says Yes. And it's gonna be about Henry best friend. His best friend is gonna be a white, like I say, all my books mean something. His best friend is gonna be a white girl, little girl named Ava. And it's gonna be a book 3 to 8 year olds about best friends, how they are best friends, but that'll bring in the character Ava for Mommy Got Eyes and Back of Her Head, which is would be about a white girl, a white girl and her mom. So that'll be our 3 books we have together that as we move on in our career.
So I hear you. I mean, I hear you talk about how your books are inspired from different people in your life, like like with your mom, the illustrations for the children's books. So tell us who that trilogy is about. Is that about you and a love affair? And I heard that up in there. Now you're gonna have to give us all of it.
You know we want to know. Yeah, give us all of the juice.
All right.
So who is
Autumn is
and who is
Autumn
Tree?
is the girl. Autumn is the girl I made up. Autumn is the girl. Now with this book, it's amazing how like when it comes to my writing, I started to. For me, this is how I learned how to write. I learned how to write from pulling from my life and from Kroger's grocery store. That's how I learned how to write.
Don't
Kroger's
plug
grocery
Kroger.
store.
Don't plug Kroger.
For real, the Kroger's I learned how to write at is not there no more. I was writing my story. I didn't know how to write nothing. I would be writing my story, and every time I get to something I don't know, like how to put a comma or exclamation point, or how do they say that? I don't know. I run to Kroger's. They had a little book section, and I pick a book up and start looking through, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's how I write." That's kind of like what I'm doing at home right there. See how they did it, and I went back home and wrote it.
Oh,
that's how I learned how to write. But Autumn is about a girl from Beaumont, Texas. She's from South Park. She's mixed. Her mom is white. Her dad is black. She has 4 brothers. She's in the middle. 2 big brothers, 2 baby brothers, and try not to give away the story.
Is she a real girl? I'm about to say, is she a real girl?
No, ma'am. It's
Oh,
made up. But however, all my stories are made up. That's why I wrote Grace, because people kept thinking these was me in these books. But however, this book here, when Autumn goes home to take care of her mother, that is me. That's how I learned how to write. I took things from my life. So when she's taking care of her mother in this book, that was me taking care of my mom.
Oh,
That's how I wrote that, and it's dynamic. As far as in Tree is about a man, and the reason why I wrote Tree, because at the end of Autumn, I want the reader to say, I hate Tree for how he treated Autumn. So being I'm a black man and a man at that, I can't have a reader walking away saying they hate the man. So let me show you who Tree is. So that's how Tree came along. And Tree, uh, he loves Autumn. He wants to change, but it's hard to change when you're a gangster. That's what in his mind is. And it ain't till he want to change for himself, things start to happen in his life. That's why it's called Tree, and life seasons do change. And once again in this book, it's part of my life. Far as I pull it from part of my life, because I'm learning how to write. And now in book 3, I can just do it now. Now in my life, in my career, I can straight up make a story in my head. But my first book, 2 books, I had to pull from my life a lot. And oh yeah, and Autumn's Love just came out, and it's 18 and up. This one here is something else. I had to do some things in this book that I didn't know I had to do, because, like I say, I freestyle my books off the top of my head. So in this book, she gets married. So while she's getting married, I remember writing in the book when she got married, engaged. I mean, when she gets engaged, I'm like, what happened after you get engaged? And I'm like, oh Lord, I gotta write sex scenes in this book. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I was like, Lord, I'm telling my mama in heaven, Lord, mama, forgive me. I gotta write it real. I gotta write it real. So that's where this book was hard. It was fun for me to write. I can't wait for women to read this one all the way through. Y'all gonna love
so
this one.
do you feel that in order to get the fullness of the third book, you have to start with Autumn and move to Tree, and then it'll all make for a perfect recipe once reading the last one
No,
in a
no, ma'am.
trilogy?
I write all my books to stand alone, because I
Okay,
feel like if you're a great author, you should be able to write your books to stand alone. So, however, if you want to know more about the story or read them in order, you can. But I write them
right.
all to stand alone. If you pick up any book, you're gonna read a good story.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I'll be introduced to each character in the book.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. That's great.
Eric, I hear you say you speak of your mother a lot, and I'm sure she was a big inspiration to you. And she was a school teacher here in Beaumont, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Right. And she was a school teacher, and did she had a lot to do with you writing books? Did she had a hand in your life? I know that, but writing books and inspiring you to go in that direction.
No, not really. Far as like my mom just grew my mom groomed me into an author, knowing that I
Hmm.
was gonna be something great, because I I would have to take piano lessons. I would have to take gymnastics. My brothers didn't take gymnastics, they didn't take piano lessons. This is what I was put in, and other things and such and whatnot. Just grooming me just to know she seen something in me from day one. I got hit by a car when I was 3 years old. I wasn't supposed to walk, talk, all kind of things, and look at me today. So I was her miracle baby. I'm her only dark child, and she was very protective of me after I got hit by that car and had to have reconstructive skull surgery and everything. So far as her, yeah, she just grew me. But when you have a gift, sir, it's different. My gift is not like basketball or anything where you can see my gift. My gift have to be recognized by someone else, because to me it's easy. Like I say, I can write a book while talking to y'all. I could be writing here, talking to writing a book. So it ain't to you says, man, Calvin, this is good. So that I realize, man, for real, it's good. Because other than me, I think anybody could write like this.
Oh, well, that's just
Well,
awesome.
that's how I
'Cause
used to think.
I mean, right. I'm sure you've grown to know that everybody cannot write. People do not write. And like I said, I write, and sometimes it's hard. So if writing comes easy and you can just flow it off the top of your head, sometimes I have to, like you say, I have to take that inspiration. I have to take that 5 minute break. I get writer's block. If after your first book, you have no writer's block. Like I sat down to write a book one time and wrote like 2 pages, and I was like, "Oh Lord, this is gonna be a disaster." So I'm saying that to say, if something can inspire you, and all of a sudden you can continue on for pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and hundreds of pages, that's a blessing. You're right. That's not something that everybody can do. Even people that think they're intelligent and intellectual and may have a degree in communications. And while we can talk, we can't write. That's something totally different. Francis and Tony and I and all of us here on Knowledge is Power podcast, we have a degree in communications. So we pride ourselves on being able to speak to people. That don't mean that, honey, we're a good writer. Because you can talk don't mean you can write. That ain't the same thing. So yes, it is a big deal to be able to turn out children's books in 1 to 3 days, or have different novels and actually be able to complete your thought, make it make sense, have it in sequential order, and be able to say some books or a trilogy. That means that the storyline have carried on. I mean, like, that's awesome. I'm super proud of you. That's a blessing.
I am too, Calvin. That's great, man.
Mr. Tony, I want to answer one. You're right about something. What my mom did do for me when my mom was real sick and ill, and on her, well, I'm gonna say on her deathbed. I was writing Autumn, my first book, and once I learned I knew how to write, I couldn't. I was like a caveman. I was just so focused that I'm a writer, that I could actually do something, and people like, look what I can do. And I've been a mess up all my life. So I remember writing so much that my family was coming in from out of town. People from all over was coming in from out of town to help me, because my mom had 4 boys, and I was the only one at the house with her at the time, because I was like a full-time nurse. And I remember writing so much, and when they get here, I go in a room and I disappear for the 1 week they here, because I'm writing. And one day I was like, man, I heard people talking behind my back about, look at him, he writing, all he doing is writing that book, his mama's sick, and all that other stuff. So I remember I stopped writing. I was on like chapter 13. I was like, man, I'm through writing this stuff, man, because nobody would tell me my writing was good or bad. I'm like, everybody's saying it's good, Calvin, it's good, Calvin. I'm like, man, they all only telling me that because my mama's sick. You know what I'm saying? So I remember my mom, I went in her room one day. I used to have to rub her down with alcohol because she had that cancer fluid all over her belly. I go on in there to rub her down and put her stockings on, and she was like, well, where you at in the book? And I was like, I just bust out crying. I say, Mom, I ain't writing no more. She said, what you mean you're not writing no more? I say, because I don't want people to think I didn't give my all in trying to help you. Don't be your best, because and think all I want to do is write that book. I'm here for you, Mama. It's all about you. Forget that book. And that's when she set up and she said, son, she said, and then I said, Mama, and not only that, nobody tell me it's good, or nobody never say it's bad. One, and two, it feel like anybody could write this stuff. Man, I'm writing this stuff easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I say, Mama, and then that's when she set up. She say, son, first of all, as a mother, all you do is write that book, son. And I say, yes, ma'am. She say, as a mother, if I felt like that's what you wasn't supposed to do, I would have to tell you out of a loving way that you need to go get a job and worry about writing that book later. As a mother, that's what I would have to do, because I have to guide you into what you need to be, what's good and what's ain't. And she say, now, son, have I told you that? I say, no, ma'am, you never told me that. You always want to know what's happening. And then she say, now, two, as a teacher, you're right, son. Anybody can write a book, but anybody can't write a good book. And what you're writing is a good book. Now go get it and tell me what happened next. And I'm like, Mama, I'm writing for real, Mama. She say, yeah, and hey, keep writing, and that's all I hear now. So it's on.
And that's powerful because sometimes I tell my kids, I'm glad you brought that up. As a mother, it's not my job to tell you the easy stuff. Sometimes I got to hurt your feelings a little bit. In the beginning, my daughter, she came up, she was singing, and I'm going to be a singer. No, you're not. You know what I mean? You can't carry a tune. That stuff is sounding bad. It's going real bad. At first, my mama, who was her grandmother, was like, you shouldn't tell her that. I said, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. As her mama, I got to make it plain. This is terrible. This is not good. You are not a singer. You need to figure out what else you gonna do, but you're not gonna do that. Now, I can get you some lessons. We maybe can see if you can improve, but you are not a good singer. Just naturally, you don't just have that natural ability. And I'm glad that you brought that up because mothers sometimes have the hard task. We are tasked with the hard task of telling you hell to the no. It's going bad. That's not good. That's terrible. That's not. I don't mean to be ugly,
For real.
but we got that job, and we must do our due diligence to sometimes say, this is terrible. This is not good. I mean,
and she let me know. She would have let me know.
Right. And if nobody else gonna tell you, mama gonna keep it real. Okay. Mama gonna keep it real. We need sometimes to keep it real with our kids. So you're right. If your mama told you go, boy, you got it. You right. You need to keep on hearing that because your mama not gonna steer you wrong. If she thought you couldn't write and your writing was bad, or it didn't make sense, or it didn't sound good, or she didn't think that you had what it took, she would tell you that it's not going at all. It's not lining up. And so I'm happy to hear you say that because as a mama, I've been in that same situation. My daughter, she thought she was going to be a singer, bless her little heart. Now, mind you, she plays the clarinet really good, and it don't require no singing, okay? So you're really good at that, but you're not a good singer.
Amen.
And
Calvin, Eric Denson, everybody. I'm not cutting you off, LaDonna. I'm so sorry. But Calvin, Eric Denson, everybody, with Denson Books. If you think about books, think about Denson. He's from Beaumont, Texas. And he has been an inspiration for inspired me tonight for the gift that he has. And Calvin, man, I'm proud of you, son. And I'm gonna ask you to come back again when you complete your next book. How about that, LaDonna? That's okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
We're looking
yes.
forward to it.
Yes, we'd like to invite you back again because Calvin on the road. Where are you going to be this weekend, Calvin?
Friday, I'll be in Beaumont, Texas from 12 to 8 at Family Dollar on Highland Avenue. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'll be at Willowbrook Mall in Houston, Texas. And Tuesday, I'll be in Kingwood at a market signing books. And then Wednesday and Thursday, 23rd and 24th, I'll be at Parkdale Mall.
Now, is that on your website? Is that on your website or your Facebook page? Okay.
Not it'll be on my face. It's on my Facebook page and all that, but it ain't on my website. I gotta go put it out because the schedule be different. But those dates are for sure. I'll be at Highland Avenue Friday from 12 to 8. If y'all want to come get Autumn's Love, or you can go on DensonBooks.com.
All right.
Get y'all a signed copy because the book's going quick.
Okay, and that's at the Family Dollar on Highland.
On Highland in South Park, or Highland Avenue in South Park, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's Saturday, right? It's on Friday.
Friday from 12 to 8.
From 12 to 8 on Highland Avenue at the Family Dollar Store. People, stop by and visit with Calvin. If you don't purchase his books, just say hello, give him some support that he needs. Before we go, Calvin, I'd like to ask LaDonna or Francis, you got any shout out you want to shout out before we close our show? But I have quite a few. I have Vanessa Van Dyke, Rodney Yvette, Linda Green is watching, Candy Gilbert, Terrence LaPorte, Krista Johnson, Clyde Wells, Paula Caesar, Noella Broussard, and Dolores Booker, Brian Roy, and Shelby Williams. He's a Cowboy fan, so we won't say too much to him.
Please don't
And
say too much to him.
Barbara Anderson. Hello, Barbara, and Natalie Wade is with us, and Katrina Stanley Wilson out of Houston, and Kevin Ellis out of Houston, and Dana Davis still in Dallas, right, Dana? And Prentice West said, oh, we've got quite a few people here with us today. Elizabeth Bennett Manning said hello. And also Terry Savar Headley said hello, Calvin. Cynthia
Thank you. Hello.
Castile and Kawana Lewis. So Eric Blue and Hetty Renee Brown was on today. And so we've got quite a few. Oh, Rose Stanley Simpson was on, and Nettie D. I didn't know she had a phone. Oh, hello, Shannon Guidry. Thank you for joining us. And Joyce Dandry. Hey, cuz. Thank you for joining us this evening as we visit with the author, Calvin Eric Denson with Denson Books. Ladies, you can close us out.
I just want to say that I am super excited about these books. And I just want to shout out everybody who, may be an author, who may be a writer, who may not have anybody who's backing them up or pumping them up or telling them that they're great. Calvin is a primary example of sometimes you got to go along. Sometimes you got to tell yourself that you can. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself. Sometimes nobody's coming, and the only voice you hear is a still small voice in the back of your head telling you, you got it, you can, you will, you must. And I just want to encourage the young people that's coming up behind us, because I know what it's like. I write, I do a bunch of things in the community, and I know that sometimes nobody's coming. You got to put your head up and your chest out and forward. You got to move forward. And it don't matter if nobody gets behind you. It doesn't matter about the naysayers or the haters. Let that be fuel to your fire. I am proud of you, brother. And I'm looking forward to some of these books and children's stories and inspiration. And I am here for you. And I want to let you know that as a Black woman, we got your back, baby. We will not let you fail. We are never gonna let you down. And we coming to the South Park at the Family Dollar and gonna buy some books and see what's up. All right.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to thank Knowledge is Power. I want to thank all y'all. I want to give a shout out to Knowledge is Power with Mr. Tony Riffro, Mr. Sherwood, and the lady, Miss Francis, I believe her name ain't on there right now. But just thank y'all for having me. I really enjoyed myself tonight, and I just want to show people, man, like the lady said, one thing my mama used to say about me, she say, out of all my kids, my son Eric is the only one know how to pat. Eric, she calls me Eric. My middle name is the only one know how to pat himself on the back. He needs no one to tell him he's doing a good job. Remember that. Learn how to pat yourself on the back.
Amen. Francis.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to say, piggybacking on what LaDonna said, thank you for being an example, for showing our youth who are future leaders in our community that you can. So it's easier when you have a hero, when you have someone that looks like you going out and trailblazing and making that opportunity or that idea is something you can actually see and touch. Thank you for being a role model. So keep up the great work. I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the community. And when your tickets going to sell for your first play, we'll be there.
Thank you.
Autumn Tree could be plays.
Well, what?
Or movie, baby.
Movie.
Bring Knowledge is Power podcast with you.
That's it. We on the way. We are on the way.
Knowledge is power.
Thank you, Calvin. Thank you very much, and we enjoyed you. And again, people, check out Calvin Denson of Denson Books. He's going to be at DensonBook.com. He's going to be at a location on Highland Avenue, at the Dollar Family Store in Beaumont on Friday from 2 to 6, right?
12 to 8. 12 to 8 at Family Dollar. Family Dollar.
With that said, we say goodbye and peace. We love you. Thank you again.